Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. At the end of the day, you guys, we are this is all brought to you by transportation professionals. Most of the time I have guests that come on the show. This week, being around the holidays, I'm probably going to be rocking solo for the rest of this week. But you know what? At the end of the day, you guys, I'm in the trenches with you. And that's what we're all about, is just providing value. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight. Again, you guys, this is brought to you by transportation professionals for transportation professionals. And, most importantly, you guys, we're just looking to add value to your organizations. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. Not only are we the greatest country on earth, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live your American dream as well. We're going to break down some articles here today. We're going to do a little weather report out there. We're going to do some market reports out there as well. Vitaly Becker, what's up, my man, from the GTA? But before we jump down and break down any of these articles, you guys are going to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. It doesn't matter if you're a broker, carrier, or shipper alike. We all need access to trailers. And most importantly, with the way that fuel is and repairs are and everything, if you're a trucking company, you should never have to shut your operation down because you have a trailer in the shop. And the best part about with what they have is you get paid to move these trailers for them. That's right. You get paid to do this, you guys. And that's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading out these trailers as well. So what they're working on right now is they have San Diego, California going to Millbury, Ohio. You get $600 to do that. They also have Glade Spring, Virginia going to Orting, Washington. You get paid $1,550 to do that. They also have Glade Spring, Virginia to Delta, BC. You get paid $1,850 US to do that. And again, that's on top of the revenue that you get by loading out these trailers. And then they also have West Valley City, Utah going up to Calgary, Alberta, and you get paid $1,550 US to do that. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My man Xavier Campos and my friend Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor, you guys. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. They help keep this neon light on behind me every single day. Sonny Sharma, let's go. Let's fucking go. Orange Shirt Gang in the house. Pat Green, what's going on, my man? Happy late Thanksgiving to you as well. Drew Driscoll, good to see you back in the audience today, my dude. What's going on out in Knoxville? Something happened out there, man. Something happened recently with the Vols. I don't know. I won't rub salt on an open wound. Wisconsin football is terrible this year. All righty. We are at day 167 of the Freight Coach tally. We all know what that means. That's just a subtle reminder that there is some facilities issues that are out there where drivers can't get access to showers and adequate food and everything else. And again, you guys, I'm going to continue to bring this up every single day because I'm not doing this for vanity metrics. I'm going to do this because my mission long-term is to be the one that changed the transportation industry for what it should be as opposed to what it currently is. We've kind of gone astray. There's a lot. It's easy to talk about a lot of things, but very few are actually doing anything about it. And we're going to make sure that as this platform grows, as all of this stuff grows, we will be the change of this industry, as well as all of you guys who are in here watching this as well. David K, what's up? Let's fucking go. Good morning from Red Trucking out in Newark, New Jersey. April Maroney, what is up? Good morning. Let's fucking go. We're going to do a little weather update here. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I was just in Minnesota this past weekend, and I got a text from my cousin this morning about how it's snowing out there. So again, it's not snowing here in Arizona, if anybody was wondering, which I'm sure you guys aren't, but it's just another subtle reminder, you guys, winter weather. What are we doing out here for our drivers and our customers alike? Because, at times where I am out in Arizona, we really don't see inclement weather all that often. And, but the freight that we're moving out there is going to pass through some of this stuff. So prepare your customers for potential delays on this. Prepare your drivers for additional equipment that they might need in their trucks on this. Because again, you guys, it's all about having this freight move as smooth as possible. that's out there, and the forecast is looking cold. And there's also some potential tornadoes that are going to be possibly arising out there in the south. Looks like Mississippi, Louisiana, eastern or western Tennessee, and eastern Arkansas is looking like it's kind of up in that area again. So yeah, you guys, I get that information from the weather.com. I'm not a meteorologist by trade, but I just figured why not toss a couple of those things in there. Also, diesel went down. I guess if we're trying to look at it from that perspective, diesel is at $5.14 a gallon, which is still a slap in the face to anybody who's filling up their trucks on a multiple times a week basis. It's up $1.42 year over year. And again, I get all of this information from the EIA, you guys, EIA.gov. Again, it's probably going to be sitting like this here for a little bit. I don't see it dropping or changing very much here. So again, be prepared, and especially with it being RFP season right now and bid season, and a lot of people are out there. Fuel surcharge is very much a thing. And remember, if you're a broker and you're bidding on this, drivers need that fuel money. So keep them profitable in any of this stuff. Possibly Vitali, turkey tornadoes. That could be a thing. I don't know if I want any more turkey, though. I ate enough turkey this weekend, so I'm good. Cody Kohler, what's up, baby? Let's fucking go. All right. We're just going to do a little market report here, daily market report. We're just choosing random. And when I do this, you guys, I'm literally choosing random cities, random equipment types, and we're just going off of what I would do in this situation if I was bidding on outbound freight. And today, we are doing Paul Wall's hometown, aka H-Town, aka Houston, Texas. Looks like this market is very tight capacity out there. And when we're talking about very tight capacity, it's good for drivers in these instances because there is like 18,000 loads to 8,000 trucks. So if you are out there bidding on this freight, be aware of this, brokers, because obviously when there is more loads to trucks, prices are going to increase. Obviously, supply and demand. It's pretty basic information out there. But again, if you're thinking about this and if you're going to read this on it, and then here, you know what? Let me go off of the prior 8-day. So the prior 8-day is very tight as well. So based off of this information, historically speaking, I would go on it remaining tight in the Houston market here for a while. And I would, if you're in a position right now as a broker and you are covering freight, it might not be the margin percentage that you want on this. I would hold firm on those prices if it's moving the freight right now, because you don't want to push those prices down where you're going to push the capacity away from you, because they don't need your freight right now. There's a ton of freight out there. And if you're having consistent capacity showing up, that is exactly what you want out there. And then also inbound Atlanta, Georgia. See, this is a different one. Let's go to outbound. Outbound Atlanta is also very, very tight capacity as well. There's 13,000 trucks to 21,000 loads. So again, very similar to what I was just talking about in Houston. And if you're looking at over the last 8-day freight report on that as well, it's the exact same thing. It is very tight capacity out there. So again, if you're pricing this freight out, or if you're a trucking company and you're making, know where the bargaining power is in these instances. And then also if you're a broker, and it's same thing. If your margin percentage might not be where you want it to be, but you're moving the freight, you need to hold firm at this, you guys, because it's all about service, you guys. The holidays right now, this is not a time you want to fuck up at all, because there are people like me who are in every single one of your prospects and customers' ears right now, hoping you drop the ball. All right. Hoping you hold out for an extra $50 on a load and it causes a service failure. All right. That's just the reality of the freight market and the free market that we operate in. It's all about service, you guys. And if you're in the door and you're making money with a customer, value those relationships. All right. It takes so much to build up a partnership with a customer to get to the point where it's mutually beneficial, and then why go out there and just reset your book of business for what? For some short-term gain? Because that's really what it boils down to, is it's a short-term gain. That's all you're going to get from this. Let me see here. Papa Bear in a chair. I get all of this information from just the load boards, man. I truck stop, DAT. I get it all from there. And I just pull all that information off on that. All righty here. What else we got here? That's kind of it for current events and everything. And if you guys like me doing this stuff, if you want more of it, I'll go more in depth if you guys want with it as well and let you guys know like the strategies. Because again, like as I am building up my brokerage as well, Freight Coach Logistics is up and running. We're moving freight, we're building it up, and I'm just going to put all of this information out there for people on what we're doing and what we're applying and where we're seeing a meaningful difference in our business. Because again, you guys, nothing's proprietary. And if it helps raise the standards and raise the industry up, that's what I'm going to continue to do, because there's a lot of opportunity out there for all of us. Yes, RateView and the other one too. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on that. I closed it out. I have short-term memory, long-term memory, whatever the hell you want to call it. But yes, it is definitely in the RateView stuff. All right. We also kind of have somewhat breaking news, but not breaking news, because this article and information came out yesterday. This is from ttnews.com, and it's Biden ready to urge Congress to intervene in freight rail fight. President Biden plans to call on Congress to act to stop a looming shutdown of the nation's freight railroads, according to a person familiar with the matter. The White House is holding off on public announcement of the president's intentions until his aides are certain they have the votes to pass legislation, according to a person who has been briefed, but requested to remain anonymous. I fucking hate that. Just put yourself out there. I hate anonymity. If you're confident enough to say it behind closed doors, be confident enough to say it in front of people. Who fucking cares? A rail strike could wreak havoc on the U.S. economy. As we all know, unions and railroads have until December 9th to negotiate agreement. Appears unlikely. Congress can intervene to stop a strike under federal law. And the White House declined to comment on the president's plans, but it signaled it won't let a shutdown cripple the economy. And the president is directly involved in the process and has been engaged. Yeah, it is probably, again, I don't know what's going on out here. The information that I've seen, here's my perspective on where the people are right now. The workers, what they're fighting for, from what I saw last, is a lot of like paid time off and a lot of workers' benefits and everything. And, frankly, I thought that was the union's job to fight for this shit. So like how it got to this point to where like they weren't even getting like PTO days and stuff like that. They were only given a certain amount of times. And it was like, if you're on call, you're on call and shit. It's kind of fucked up, in my opinion. I don't know how that was advocating for workers' rights by any stretch of the imagination under the former bargaining agreement and employment relations. But from what I'm seeing right now, these workers who are out there on the rail, the frontline workers, the guys and girls who are out there when it's a fucking blizzard, clearing the rail lines and everything to keep this freight moving, those guys need to be protected. All right. And if you're a union and you haven't done this yet, and now it's getting to this point, like that's ridiculous. Like, how is this a thing? Because again, I'm not going to go to it because I don't know every single waking detail of it. But my opinion is if there's a union out there representing you and you're not feeling represented and you're paying dues to that union, it should never get to this point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it should ever get to a point where somebody should threaten to shut down operations because the workers who are paying dues into a union should be represented all the time. And it should never get to this point, in my opinion. But, if it has to come to it, I hate government intervention on every level. But if this is like this, but this is also why the government's in place, is to avoid these catastrophes. Because this would be fucking a catastrophe if the rail shut down for an extended period of time. It would be a fucking disaster. So I would applaud the president. Again, I got to give credit where credit's due, you guys. I would applaud the president to actually make something happen in this situation, to come to an agreement. But it has to come to an agreement. Like, you can't kick the can down the road because it already got extended out once, and we can't keep extending this shit out. There has to come to an agreement out there and get something done. I have an aching suspicion there will be an extension on this, probably until February. This is Freight Coach Adamas's guess. Here is there will be on December 8th, there'll be an announcement that they have came to an agreement to extend it 60 days or probably until in March or whatever, because, you know, the holidays, everybody's got to take 2 weeks off for Christmas and everything, except for the workers. They're going to be out there actually working still, but it'll be kicked out until like March would be my assumption. And then they'll come to an agreement at that time. But I'm assuming around right before the pending shutdown were to happen, there'll be an extension signed out through February, end of February, early March, and then they'll come to an agreement at that time. TTnews.com, Biden ready to urge Congress to intervene in freight rail fight. All right. On to the next one here, as Jay-Z says, JOC.com, and it's the FMC, Federal Maritime Commission, gives green light to Southeast U.S. chassis pool. And they have approved the formation of a chassis pool in the Southeast U.S. covering 3 ports in Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. A move port officials say will expand the fleet and improve the quality and reliability of equipment necessary to move containerized cargo. And they raised no objection after a 45-day review, which did the South Atlantic Chassis Pool 3.0, which expired on Saturday, and then allowed the agreement, which runs through 2028, to enter into force. And SACP 3.0 comprises, port authorities in Jacksonville, Savannah, and Wilmington, North Carolina. A coalition of 10 ocean carriers and chassis pool administrators will be out there, and it will change the operating structure of the pool, and hopes that those changes result in more high-quality roadworthy chassis in the Southeast. Yeah, and it's one of those things that, from what I learned over all the shit that was going down in LA and Long Beach last year with all the backups and everything else, like the ports own the chassis. Think about that. The drayage drivers don't even own the chassis. So again, it's like if you wanted to cause a problem, again, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here. If you wanted to cause a problem out there, just don't service the chassis, and then they're not roadworthy and everything else, and that causes a backup, and then you can raise your prices and everything. But what do I know? Anyways, I have learned a lot about port moves and everything here, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that are out of the drayage drivers' control and everything with that. And again, I'm not saying that some of them don't have their own chassis, which I'm sure some drayage companies out there probably do own their own chassis, but for the ones that are power only, that just have a twit card that go in and just pull containers out there, then yeah, you're kind of at the discretion of somebody else. And and they're looking to grow the chassis pool out here. To get back into the article, they currently has about 60,000 chassis between the 3 ports, and they're looking to grow that. And then acquiring additional equipment will give even more as the West Coast continues to cede import share to the East and Gulf coasts, putting more pressure on the major gateways. And again, it looks like from a lot of this stuff, it is just these Eastern seaboard ports are out there adding to their chassis, because the West Coast ports definitely gave up a lot of capacity here because they couldn't get their shit in line with all the stuff that was backed up. And yeah, it seems, but you know, you never know. It'll be interesting to see now that the ports on the West Coast have essentially cleaned up and there's nothing waiting out in the bay. And they're getting ships offloaded again the way that it was. It'll be interesting to see if some of this stuff transitions back to the West Coast. And from a freight volumes perspective, you know, that will help out a lot. You know, I know LA is kind of dry right now from what I'm hearing out there, and it's not your typical Q4 out in the Los Angeles basin. So it's going to be interesting to see if next year it'll shift back over there and what'll happen. Because again, with the ports, you guys, like a lot of it's a bid. You know, these guys are out there pricing a lot of this shit out and stuff. So again, it's not like these are government owned facilities in the ports. Like these are private entities who are operating inside of these ports. And again, it's like the shipping lines bid and they go in and work with these ports directly to park their ships at there to get offloaded and stuff. So again, like this is all a bid. This is all an open market with that. So again, you'll see that shift, I'm sure, happen out there. And again, that article is from the JOC, you guys. FMC gives the green light to the Southeast U.S. chassis pool. And again, all the articles that I break down, you guys, we will put the links up on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay on iTunes and Spotify. It goes under the Coffee with the Freight Coach podcast platform because that's what it's built under. And yeah, you guys, I'll put all the links up there. So again, check them out, read them on your own. And if you do go over there, do me a favor, just hit subscribe, share it out there. I would appreciate it, you guys. It helps out with all the ratings. Rank it too. If you guys could rank the show, that would be awesome. I would appreciate that. David K. Red Trucking has our own chassis, 20-foot, 40-foot Metro styles with aluminum wheels and radial tires. Hell, any of my shipper friends who are watching this right now, if you guys need anything up there in Newark, New Jersey, hit up David K. He's got his own stuff for you. All right. Now, this one is going to continuously be in the news here, you guys. This is from fleetowner.com, and it is Nuclear Verdicts Royal and Ryle Trucking. There's a lot of freight to haul, and some would say, some would have the public believe that unsafe players haul most of it. Of course, there are still operators today that knowingly hire suspect CDL holders to operate 80,000-pound machines that are old, poorly maintained, and still run a lot of miles. But this in no way represents trucking as a whole. Exactly. That's why I fucking hate lumping in everybody into one category. Yet this does sound like one of those side of the road billboards, doesn't it? With one of the broad sorry. Sorry, I'm still not over my cold yet. Excuse me. Injury and death occur in truck involved accidents despite current government goals of cutting this carnage down to zero. But that's something safety directors, fleet executives, and anyone in orbit around the issue of nuclear verdicts hear regularly. Many internalize safety. Most make their missions to do better, to not only put their drivers in training, but to build a whole program with the goals of constructing safety cultures, preventing accidents, and staying well clear of plaintiffs, juries, and lawyers. To some commercial carriers, the ones that that invest a lot, preach accident prevention, that hire safety people, sometimes several of them, despite ever strained budgets, that carefully screen and train drivers to be good citizens on the road, or of the road, sometimes million-mile drivers that invest heavily in safety drivers. The numbers, however, are stark. In 2020, there were 4,444 truck-involved fatal crashes and 101,000 others that involved injuries, regardless of fault. The FMCSA data says last year, large truck-involved fatalities rose 13%, and we're at its highest in almost 20 years, adds the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, a statistic the government is using to call to action to freight hauling industry and its public. More than 800 truck drivers were lost in those accidents last year. So fleets know full well of the high stakes that are out there. To prevent receiving the phone call no one wants, sources said that the fleet-wide mindset needs to be that absolutely nothing comes before safety. The customer can wait. Safety comes first. It can wait. And that message needs to be real and clear. And, again, that's just another subtle reminder to all of the brokers that are out there as well. And again, like bringing up the weather and stuff like that, like no truckload is worth somebody's life. All right. Nothing is, it never will be. It never has been. Stop pushing people to, get those additional miles in. If they're not feeling safe behind the wheel, have them pull over. All right. If you can't properly articulate that message to your customers about what's going on out there, you shouldn't be brokering freight at all. You shouldn't have anything to do with it. Because, to me personally, it's just never worth it. It's never worth it. Nobody should ever feel unsafe behind the road. All right. Lumping in the good players with the bad ones. The point is the importance of the industry and the economy. It hauls about 70% of everything that we want. Those bad apples put targets on all of our backs, even the good ones. Said Dana, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her. Charts. A fleet safety director at Belleville, Illinois-based commercial transport. But this misconception energized the same stakeholders to work harder at safety, advocating for it. I don't even know. That's not even a word. Okay, they're all right. We're going on here. Last year alone, $1 billion from a Florida jury and $730 million from another one in Texas. Defendant carriers are being urged to combat aggressive trial bar with something called the mongoose method. Numerous other smaller verdicts under $1 million are rendered every year, escalating high dollar settlements, deals made often to avoid the uncertainty of the trial process are another problem and are exacted in the exact same case. Plaintiffs' attorneys Hands are in no way clean either, as every source emphasized when fleet owner interviewed them about the trends and the verdicts and the settlements involving the freight haulers. In response, millions have been spent lobbying and legislation on this topic in Congress and in the state houses across the U.S. The issue disturbs the industry. Lawsuit abuse reform came in at number 10 in the ATRI's 2022 rankings just released in October. High dollar verdicts and settlements, of course, are linked to insurance, the cost to which continue to skyrocket. This obviously comes at a time when trucking can least afford it with inflation and the looming recession and everything else. The mention of the nuclear verdicts gets everyone's blood boiling. My blood boiling as well. Because again, you guys, as a broker, take this latest case against C.H. Robinson into consideration. If you think you are immune to this, you better fucking pull out your broker 101 handbook on this stuff, because you can and will be pulled in to the courts if something happens. All right. You will be pulled in. Look at, again, reference C.H. Robinson's lawsuit here recently in the Supreme Court and everything, because those aren't small numbers that are thrown out there. And you would think, oh, I'm a broker, what do I have to do? You have fucking everything to do with this. Pay attention to this stuff, you guys. Let me see. State Trucking Association. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around throughout this article here because my brain gets sidetracked with some of this stuff. Verdicts are so high they're virtually uncollectible. Oh, Alex Miller. She's the Florida Trucking Association CEO. She's great. How much money is arbitrary? How much money is valid dollar amount? And how much money is just pulled out of the sky? I would agree with this. Where the fuck do they come up with some of these numbers? There are other consequences, nuclear verdicts and inflated settlements. Miller's added, they drive up insurance rates, divert money away from increasing companies' workforces, and can delay purchasing new trucks and safety technologies. Ultimately, this affects everyone, the health of the economy and the supply chain. Florida is ranked number 1 for nuclear verdicts, and Texas ranks highly large judgments against trucking specifically. This goes on. Florida is a flashpoint in these issues right now. We don't need special treatment. We just need to level the playing field. Everyone needs their day in court. And Miller also sits on the ATA's legal reform that's going out there. And the ATA strongly advocates for tort reform that's going on out there, and which are generally those over $10 million. And yeah, it is. Sorry, we're just coming up on time here. This is, I want you guys to read this article a lot and in depth, and follow some of the hyperlinks that are out there as well. And, you know, it also, it's the, there's just a lot. There's a lot that is, you know, because this isn't going away. Like, this is only getting worse, it seems. Like, over the last 3 to 4 years, it is just getting worse and worse with nuclear verdicts and everything. And, you know, some of these smaller companies are like, they're getting put out of business, and nobody's immune to this too. Again, nobody in the industry is immune to it, because I'm not an attorney. Nothing I say should be taken as legal advice, but I know attorneys follow the paper trail of who has the most money. So again, this is something that as an industry, we all need to pay attention to and put our best foot forward. And again, if you're a broker, what are you doing to ensure that in the event that this is one of your shipments, that you are protected? This is why you need to do your due diligence on everybody you're sourcing out there to haul your freight. You have to do your due diligence, because our friends over at the FMCSA have said that they're not going to do their due diligence for the carriers that are on the road. It's not their responsibility. So if they're going to say that, which I vehemently disagree with, it is their fucking responsibility. But that is a conversation for another day. As a broker, what are you doing to vet the carriers that you are putting on these shipments? You have to have in-depth conversations, and you have to ensure that you are protecting your business. That article, fleetowner.com, nuclear verdicts, Royal and Ryle Trucking. And that's it for today, you guys. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We are the top morning show in transportation. Erica Hamilton, good morning to you. We'll be back tomorrow, you guys, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. We'll break down some more industry headlines. We'll provide some more insight into some freight markets and everything else, because at the end of the day, you guys, I just want to help you guys grow and put best practices out there. But that's it for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.